What's going on, fiends? Your old buddy Fiendish J here. Day's been kind of a bummer day in the world of horror movies, movies in general, entertainment in general. But I think we can also look back on today as a celebration of a life and a legacy that will endure for as long as movies exist and for as long as we hold on to that memory, right? Well, that legacy and person I'm referring to is Mr. Ricou Browning, who played the Gillman in the 1954 classic Creature from the Black Lagoon. He was, without a doubt, the last living link to those OG Universal horror films. He was. And it's really kind of, I guess it's fitting that Creature from the Black Lagoon was basically the last of those OG Universal horror movies, and the actor who played the monster would be the last living member of that prestigious alma mater, if you want to call it that. Um, he lived a very long life, 93 years, man. Hey, not many of us can say that we're going to live that long. And he was relatively still healthy. I know people said he was still making con appearances and different things, and there's even pictures where he's made con appearances. But I do know that it seemed, I think it was about a year and a half ago, I started reading articles where his health was starting to go. But hey, man, look, you get up in your 90s, you have lived one hell of a life. 'Cause ain't many of us gonna live 9 decades. That's why you need to live every day like it's your last. And as I was reading about Mr. Browning today, he damn sure did that and more. Um, Now the Creature from the Black Lagoon did spawn 2 sequels. I don't think was involved with either of those, only the original. Now, little fun piece of trivia for you. Clint Eastwood was in one of those sequels to The Creature from the Black Lagoon, and that was one of his first big movies outside of television. But the Hollywood Reporter did a very nice article today about the life and the passing of Mr. Ricou Browning today, and I would like to pull that article up right now and read it to you guys. So, all right. Hollywood Reporter, Ricou Browning, the Gill Man and Creature from the Black Lagoon, dies at age 93. He spent a lot of time in the water during his career, also working on Flipper, Sea Hunt, Thunderball, and Caddyshack. Ricou Browning, who took to the water as the menacing Gill Man in Creature from the Black Lagoon and as the creative force behind the original Flipper movie and TV show, has died at age 93. Browning died Monday of natural causes at his home in Southwest Ranches, Florida. His daughter Kim Browning told The Hollywood Reporter he had a fabulous career in the film industry, providing wonderful entertainment for past and future generations, she said. The Florida native also served as a stunt man on Richard Fleischer's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea from 1954, doubled for Jerry Lewis in Don't Give Up the Ship in 1959, and played all the bad guys in TV's Sea Hunt, he said in a 2013 interview. Plus, Browning directed the harpoon-filled fight in Thunderball in 1965, another underwater scene in Never Say Never Again in 1983, and the hilarious Jaws-inspired candy bar in the pool sequence in Caddyshack 1980. Browning, who said he could routinely hold his breath for 4 minutes at a time, played the Gill Man in the underwater scenes in Creature from the Black Lagoon, the Universal Pictures 3D classic that starred Julie Adams as the girlfriend of the researcher Richard Carlson on a scientific expedition to the Amazon. Browning noted that his costume was cumbersome at first when I first put it on. It seemed awkward and clumsy, he said, but once I got into the movie, I forgot I had it on and became the creature. With Gillman joining the Universal Monster Hall of Fame alongside the likes of Frankenstein, Dracula, the Wolfman, and the Mummy, Browning returned for the sequels Revenge of the Creature, also in 3D, and The Creature Walks Among Us. See, I didn't know that. I thought they had another actor for those for the part of the Gillman. So hey, I learned something here. Browning said he came up with the idea for Flipper after he and Newt Perry, who had worked as Johnny Weissmuller's stand-in on Tarzan films, captured freshwater dolphins in the Amazon during a trip to South America. We brought them back to a Florida state park in Silver Springs, Browning recalled. I became their parent and took care of them. One day when I came home, the kids were watching Lassie on TV, and it just dawned on me, why not do the film about a boy and a dolphin? Browning and his brother-in-law, Jack Cowden, wrote the story for what would become MGM's Flipper in 1963, which starred Chuck Connors and as his son Luke Halpin, who both take care of an injured dolphin, real name Mitzi. Halpin then returned for Flipper's New Adventures in 64 and for the NBC adaptation that ran for 3 seasons from 64 to 67. Browning also directed 37 episodes of the Florida Keys set Flipper and was in charge of the underwater operations on the show. Browning was born on 16 February 1930. Damn, he just had a birthday 3 days before me, in Fort Pierce, Florida. He attended Florida State University and worked for Perry as a performer in the water shows at Weeki Springs, a Florida tourist attraction, and in underwater newsreels. He also was on the U.S. Air Force swim team. Browning was charged with showing the area of Wakulla Springs, Florida, to location scouts from Universal who were seeking filming locations for Creature from the Black Lagoon. He also did some swim moves for them, and that led to his Gillman gig. Ben Chapman played the beast on land in the first movie. The lips of the suit sat about half an inch from my lips, and I put the air hose in my mouth to breathe, he said in a 2019 interview. I would hold my breath and go do the scene, and I'd have other safety people with other air hoses to give me air if I needed it. We had a signal. If I went totally limp, it meant I needed it. It worked out well, and we didn't have any problems. Browning said he filmed his scenes in wintertime, and it was pretty cold. The crew felt sorry for me, so somebody said, How would you like to shoot? How would you like a shot of brandy? And I said, Sure, he recalled. Another part of the crew also gave me a shot of brandy. Pretty soon, they were dealing with a drunk creature. That's pretty funny. While filming Revenge of the Creature in St. Augustine, Florida, which is a very beautiful city. And if any of y'all had a chance to go to Florida, up in northern Florida especially, go to St. Augustine. It is one of the most beautiful cities. Very haunted, but also very beautiful. He said a turtle bit off one foot of his costume and swam away with it. It was the last pair of feet that I had on the shoot, so the prop men and the other stunt divers had to chase that turtle down and get the thing out of its mouth, he said. After the Creature films, Browning appeared on a 1958 episode of The Lloyd Bridges starring Sea Hunt, and producer Ivan Tors hired him to supervise the underwater photography on that syndicated adventure series as well as on CBS The Aquanauts. Tors also supplied Thunderball with divers and diving equipment and produced the Flipper films and TV show in the 60s. He named Browning president of his North Miami-based Ivan Tors studio. Browning directed the feature Salty in 1973 about a sea lion and Mr. No Legs 1978. Served as a technical advisor on Mike Nichols' Day of the Dolphin 1973 and helmed episodes of the Dennis Weaver starring CBS series Gentle Ben about a bear. In 1968, he was elected to lead the new Florida Motion Picture and Television Producers Association. and Film Florida awarded him its first Florida Legends Award in 2006. Survivors include his 4 children, Ricou Browning Jr., a Marine coordinator, actor, and stuntman like his dad, Renee, Kelly, and Kim, 10 grandchildren, and 11 great-grandchildren. His wife, Fran, died in March 2020. Damn. What was it like growing up in the Browning household? Every time he got an idea for a movie, he would bring animals home, Renee said. We had a sea lion and that sat at the dinner table. We had otters, a baby black bear, female peacock that would sit on our shoulder and drink iced tea out of our glass. All the kids in the neighborhood wanted to come over our house because it was like a zoo. That right there is one hell of a full life. Full, happy, creative, joyous life. A lot of that stuff I didn't even know he was part of. I knew he was basically the creative force behind Flipper after Creature from the Black Lagoon. But a lot of that other stuff I didn't know. Hell, I didn't even know that he was in the sequels to Creature from the Black Lagoon after. So I learned something new there, but that's the kind of life you want to live. Everything you want to do, just try and do it. Just try and do it. Not all of it's going to work out. We're going to fail. But I think he is the perfect example of just try everything there is to try. Leave nothing to chance. Know that your life is going to pass by in the blink of an eye. And regardless of if you succeed or fall on your face, at least when you're old and gray, whether you're in your late 70s, your 80s, or even like him in your 90s, you can look back on your life and say you tried it all and you left one hell of a legacy. We here at Behind the Fiends want to send our heartfelt condolences, love to the family of Mr. Ricou Browning, and would also like to thank you, sir, for the memories and the legacy that you left for us to share with generations to come. This has been your old buddy, Fiendish J, and I'll see you next time.